Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here, and you know the end of the year is when like a lot of business owners, I really lock in, okay? This is the time to set the foundation for next year. New ideas, new product drops, new goals, and when I am building anything meaningful, I need the right tools. That's why I always tell folks, especially black entrepreneurs and small black-owned businesses, Shopify is the move. We use it at the Black Effect Podcast Network, and I've seen firsthand how it helps creators and business owners grow with confidence. Entrepreneurship is important to me, man, because you just never know. While you out there chasing your dreams, you still got to deal with your reality. Your reality is usually your 9-to-5 job, that thing that pays the bills. But then you also should be doing something that also is, empowering your dreams as well, because it's probably that dream that's going to, sustain you if you ever lose that main job. Plus, I grew up, watching my father, have things like a fish market, or always have like a, little juke joint where they were selling liquor or something. He was always finding a way to hustle. So I believe in entrepreneurship. Shopify is like having a whole team behind you. Your chief of staff, your personal assistant, your co-founder, all in one platform. Whether you're running a side hustle, a full storefront, selling locally, all worldwide, selling fish like my dad was, Shopify takes all the guesswork out. Shopify brings everything into one place. You can sell on your website, on social media, and even in the real world. Like some of our partners at Black Effect Podcast Festival coming up in April. So wherever your people are, Shopify makes sure your business can meet them where they're at. Plus, Shopify Sidekick and their AI tools, total game changers. I love how it's like having an assistant giving you insights, content ideas, edits. Shopify's got your next move covered. So let me ask you this. If you're ready to take the next step in your life, whether it's merch, products, or anything in between, get on Shopify.com/BEN and make it happen. It is time to stop putting off your future and start your new role as your own boss today.
Hold up. Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
Good morning, everybody. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. All right, now, in Thursday Night Football, the Seahawks beat the Rams 38-37. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, Envy. Jess, Charlamagne, how y'all doing?
Peace, Mimi.
Good.
Good morning. So we start this morning with the clock ticking on those Jeffrey Epstein files. The Trump administration has until midnight tonight to comply with a new federal transparency law passed by Congress to make those files public. Now, as this deadline approaches, House Democrats, they are releasing new material saying it shows why the public deserves to see what the Justice Department is holding. So yesterday, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, they released more than 60 photos of Epstein's estate. Now, the images were shared without explanation, but lawmakers say they illustrate the scope of Epstein's network and raise questions about who may have been connected to him. Now, some of the photos, they show Epstein alongside powerful, well-known figures. Others include foreign passports, disturbing imagery, and screenshots of messages that appear to be arranging young women to be sent to someone. Now, several images, they also show lines from the novel Lolita, a book centered on the sexual abuse of a 12-year-old girl written on a woman's body. Now, Democrats say they're releasing the images as they receive them after the committee was handed more than 95,000 photos from Epstein's estate last week. Now, Republicans on the committee, they argue that Democrats, they are selectively releasing these images to shape a narrative. But all of this is unfolding with the administration now down to the final hours. And Congressman Roques, he says if they miss the deadline, there will be consequences. Let's listen to what he had to say.
At midnight is the deadline for Pam Bondi to release the Epstein files. That is what Thomas Massey and my bill calls for. It passed this body 427-1, passed the Senate 100-0, and the president signed it. Now, 3 federal judges have ordered the release of all of these files. Here is the reality. Any Justice Department official who does not comply with this law will be subject to prosecution for obstruction of justice. If Pam Bondi does not comply with the law, she will be held either in inherent contempt of Congress or subject to impeachment. We will not rest until the law is complied with and justice is served.
What is Trump going to do today to distract us then? Like, he put out those tweets about Rob Reiner earlier this week. He addressed the nation Wednesday, and none of that really changed the temperature or anything. So that means today he might do something ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, survivors say the slow, piecemeal release of this information has been painful and re-traumatizing, leaving them unsure of what may surface next. And meanwhile, the Justice Department, to your point, Charlamagne, they have not said exactly what documents they plan to release, only that the disclosure is expected before midnight tonight. So we will see what that looks like. And there's a change coming that could affect how marijuana is treated under federal law and what doctors are able to do. So yesterday, President Trump, he signed an executive order that starts the process of reclassifying marijuana, making it easier for federal authorities to study its medical use for the first time in decades. Now, right now, marijuana is grouped under the same federal category as heroin and LSD, but this order would move it to a lower category alongside drugs like Tylenol with codeine, meaning it would still be controlled, but officially recognized as having medical value and lower risk of a dependency. And so what that means for consumers, it will remove the barriers to research, so the FDA would be able to fully study marijuana's benefits and risks, especially for people dealing with chronic pain. So over time, it could expand medical options for seniors, veterans, and patients, no matter where they live. What it does not do, it does not legalize marijuana nationwide, and it does not allow recreational use. And that distinction is important because while many states have legalized marijuana in some form, it is still illegal at the federal level.
Yeah, why is it categorized with heroin and all of that? Why is that? Why is it up there with that?
That's a really good question. It's been like that forever, which is why you see so many people serving those extra long sentences for marijuana. Yeah.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
And why just an executive order? I mean, they're in control of everything. They got the power. Why not legalize it federally right now? That'd be a good distraction today, Trump.
Oh, that would be an amazing distraction.
That'd be a great distraction. Forget the executive order. Legalize it, all across the country federally. Why not? That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, coming up at 7, if you've ever applied for a job, you're qualified, and you are not hearing back, we'll break down how AI could be getting in the way.
All right. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Call us up right now. Maybe you tired. Maybe you was partying out in Atlanta for their Jingle Ball concert.
Maybe you just tired because you forgot you was 40 plus years old and you decided to, go from the window to the wall.
Maybe that is too. Whatever it may be, call us up right now. Get it off your chest. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Now, last night in Thursday Night Football, Seahawks beat the Rams last night 38-37. Now, tonight is the fight. Charlamagne, you watching the fight? Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua?
Come on, man. Listen, let me tell you something. Not only am I absolutely watching the fight, I have been looking forward to this fight because Jake Paul is the type of white boy I like. I like white boys that aren't afraid to die.
What you mean?
Okay, and tonight is an extreme sport. Okay, tonight is going to be fantastic to watch. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul in Miami on Netflix at 8 p.m. I am there. Okay,
something must happen because he don't look scared.
But that's the beauty of it. You don't got to look scared to do something extreme like this. Did Nate Robinson look scared before he got in the ring with Jake Paul?
I don't think Nate Robinson expected what was going to happen. I think if he knew, he would have probably looked a little scared.
Well, Jake Paul, I'm sure, knows what's going to happen. First of all, Anthony Joshua is not some old, washed-up boxer. This is a gold medal-winning Olympic champion, okay? Not to mention a two-time heavyweight champion who's only 35, 36 years old, all right? And AJ puts people to sleep.
Oh, boy.
You'll see.
All right, well, we'll see tonight. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, MB, Jess, Charlamagne. How y'all doing?
Good.
Peace,
Good
Mimi.
Morning. All right, so we start this hour with a major development at the Brown University, that shooting investigation. So police say the suspected gunman, Claudio Manuel Valente, a 48-year-old former Brown graduate who attended the university 25 years ago, has been found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire, ending a 6-day multi-state manhunt. Now, authorities believe that same man was also responsible for killing a MIT professor shot at his home just 2 days after the Brown attack. Now, investigators say a tip from a member of the public was a turning point in the case. That tipster, identified only as John in a police affidavit, They told authorities that he had several unsettling encounters with the suspect near Brown University, including inside the engineering building just hours before the shooting. Now, John, he later recognized that suspect in the surveillance images released by the police, and he shared key details with the police. Now, a Rhode Island DA, he said that it was that tip that blew the case wide open. Let's listen to what he had to say.
That person came forward to two Providence police officers over on the east side and said he had information that could help this case. And he blew this case right open. That person led us to the car, which led us to the name, which led us to the photographs of that individual renting the car, which matched the clothing of our shooter here in Providence, that matched the satchel. He was found dead with a satchel with two firearms, and evidence in the car that that matches exactly what we see at the scene here in Providence.
Well, police have not identified a motive for either attack. Brown, that shooting, of course, it left 2 students dead, 9 others injured during final exams, shaking the community. And just this morning, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she is chiming in, writing on X that Valente was granted U.S. status through the diversity visa lottery program. She said the Department of Homeland Security is now pausing that program immediately, saying the move is meant to ensure that no more Americans are harmed.
Dang.
So, yeah. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm glad that they caught that suspect, and that I'm sure that community can rest easy this morning.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how that feels. Like, no, I don't want to know how that feels, but I'm just saying, like, because you want the person to be caught, but you also want, like,
justice.
Yeah, I don't know if that feels like
Something
justice.
Yeah, for sure. That's the first thing I thought about when they said they found the suspect dead. Is people were, there's so many answers.
Have so many questions.
Left unanswered. So, we'll see. The police said the investigation is not over, even though that suspect was found. They will still continue to probe and try and figure out what that motive exactly was. So we'll
sad.
continue to follow that. Yeah. And switching gears to Washington and the Kennedy Center, the board says that it has voted to rename the landmark arts institution Trump Kennedy Center. Now, a spokesperson for the center says the vote was unanimous, crediting President Trump, now the board's chair, with stabilizing the institution. At the White House, they praised the move, calling it a new chapter for the cultural center. But that decision is already drawing backlash. Several members of the Kennedy family, they say that building is a memorial to President John F. Kennedy and cannot be legally renamed without an act from Congress. Now, legal experts, they agree, and they say that federal law established the center as a permanent memorial. And there are also questions about how that vote happened. Congressman Joyce Beatty of Ohio, she is on the board. She's saying that the issue is that the vote was not on the agenda and that she did not get a chance to voice her opinion. Let's listen to what she had to say.
What you may hear is that there was a unanimous vote to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Center. Be clear, I was on that call, and as I tried to push my button to voice my concern, to ask questions, and certainly not to vote in support of this, I was muted. Each time I tried to speak, I was muted. Participants were not allowed to voice their concerns.
Yeah, so meanwhile, President Trump, he later said that he was surprised and honored by the vote. So we'll see, because that one seems like it could go a little bit further into Congress and see if they're going to continue to uphold that decision. We'll have to follow that in 2026 and see if it's renamed the Trump Kennedy Center. And switching gears too, if you've ever applied for a job, knew you were qualified and never heard anything back, this may explain why. So right now, many companies, they're using AI to screen resumes. So before a hiring manager ever looks at your application, a computer program decides who moves forward and who doesn't. So multiple studies show that those systems don't treat everyone equally. And researchers have found that there are names like Jamal or Aisha or Keisha they were more likely to be filtered out than identical resumes with names like Jake or Emily when those qualifications were exactly the same. And so once the algorithm, it screens someone, that decision is often final, no interview, no follow-up, no explanation. Now, lawmakers say that is the core problem, and that's why Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts, along with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and several lawmakers, they are pushing a bill called the AI Civil Rights Act. Now, the goal of the bill is simple. It puts guardrails on how AI is used in major life decisions, including job applications, loans, housing, and healthcare. They say that, AI, it picks up historical data, so it reflects those long-standing biases. Instead of fixing inequality, technology can quietly repeat it faster and at a much larger scale. And so they say that has also been seen in loan applications, insurance decisions, and other digital tools where people with like black sounding names receive different outcomes than others. So, yeah.
What's a black sounding name?
I just gave it to you.
I told you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jamal, they were saying that those names, they get flagged much faster than a Jake or an Emily.
That's crazy.
Okay.
What's wrong with Jamal?
I don't know.
Tatiana don't stand a chance. We met a
Hell
Tatiana
no.
the other day. Remember Tatiana came in here? Salute to Tatiana.
Okay, so I should have told you guys to wear your sweaters today because today is National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day.
Damn. I wore mine a couple days ago. It had like the
Really?
hair. Yeah, it had the hairy bows on it. It was jingle balls.
Okay, all right. Well, today it falls on, I didn't know this, so it falls on the third Friday of every December. And it's basically a free pass to wear the loudest, tackiest, ugliest holiday sweater you can find. And here's the thing, this tradition is not going anywhere. They say that it's getting bigger, brighter, and bolder than ever. Retailers say that simple reindeer design that people used to wear, it's gone. In 2025, it's all about that high-tech, ugly sweater, LED lights, built-in music, flashing patterns. Some sweaters even sync with your phone nowadays, and you can control it. Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Yes. And they say that a new survey, they found that like 40% of Americans, they own at least one ugly sweater. Half admit that they brought it to for like an ugly a Christmas sweater contest at work or something like that. But so whether you wear your sweater today or you have one tucked in your closet, today is the day to wear it loud and proud. So it is Ugly Christmas Sweater Day.
Lauren, today's your time to shine. Just dress normal. Listen,
Damn it, man.
I always wonder too who made the first ugly sweater, and I bet you they didn't make it with the intention of being ugly.
I was ready to say it probably wasn't even meant to be ugly. Oh my God.
It was like Gordon Gartrell, like the person made it and they thought it was gonna be fire, and they was like, and then somebody told them it was whack, and they just made it a thing. Like, I meant to do this.
Yeah. And here we are years later, like having whole contests, and now it's a whole day every year, the third Friday of December, Ugly Christmas Sweater Day.
And now niggas walking around with LED lights and smoke coming up their sweaters. Looking
Didn't
like
Drake do
fire.
that?
From your phone.
Drake did that when it wasn't even Christmas.
Drake, nope.
All right, and lastly, you guys, did you know that no one hit the Powerball on Wednesday night?
Damn, no, I didn't.
No.
Well, what about maybe I won a smaller prize? Let me check. I might have won $4 or something. I'm gonna check.
I do that because I
No.
drove by the sign, and when I drove by the sign, it said 1.5 billion.
It is $1.5 billion, making tomorrow night's drawing the fifth largest jackpot the game has ever seen. So if someone hits this weekend, they'll be looking at a cash payout of $686.5 million before taxes.
God
Okay.
is good. No one person should win all that money, man.
No one person. But there was a couple $1 million prizes in New York. I think 3, and then one in Arizona and one somewhere else. So check your numbers because you could be sitting on $1 million and not even know it.
It's just weird that in this day and age of social media, these people that be winning that money don't never stun a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They don't never see them hold up the check. I guess they just all remain anonymous.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. You people out of nowhere, you win the Powerball.
Well, I want y'all to know that it says, sorry, your ticket is not a winner. So I didn't win nothing, not even $2.
Well, you wouldn't even tell us if you did. You shouldn't be trying to tell us.
I definitely would have tell you. If I won $4, I'd have tell you, but this ain't a winner. Damn.
Exactly. That's my point, Jess. People should not, because that's suicide, telling people you won all that money. All right, y'all. Well, that is your front page news. I am Mimi Brown. Follow me at Mimi Brown TV for more stories. Follow the Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app or visit binnews.com.
Peace, Mimi.
All right. Thank you, Mimi.
Happy holidays.
Same
All
to you.
Thanks, babe. See you next year.
Hold up. Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?